Ever thought about what you'd need to do if your garage door got stuck, closed, or open? Picture this. You're rushing to work or maybe coming home after a long day and suddenly you're completely stranded. Well, now you don't have to worry about that nightmare scenario because Garage Door Plus can do a complete inspection on your garage door for just $29. They'll thoroughly examine all moving parts, check the wear on the mechanical components, test springs, cable, and opener system of your garage door to keep you worry-free throughout the entire year. It's preventive maintenance that can save you hundreds of dollars and major headaches down the road. This actually happened to my wife, and it literally left her stranded. She couldn't get out because the garage door was completely stuck. We called up Garage Doors Plus, and they were there in no time to take care of the problem. The technician was professional, efficient, and got us back up and running quickly. Now I have my shop and personal home garage doors inspected every year. It's the best investment I make for my peace of mind. If you want fast, dependable, reliable service, including emergency garage door service, call Garage Doors Plus at 612-760-7551 or find them online at GarageDoorsPlusLLC.com. Today, we are talking about high levels of social engagement, all things social networking and community. From Pittsburgh to Minnesota, we'll explore building relationships, supporting women in business, and maybe even debate French fries on salads here on the Twin City Tales.
From working in his family's Chinese restaurant to bartending to becoming present-day owner of Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric, my father's true superpower is human connection. Now, he's on a mission to capture the most fascinating stories that make up the Minnesota community. You're listening to the Twin City Tales podcast.
Welcome to Twin City Tales, brought to you by Twin City Heating, Air, and Electric. I'm your host, Wymond Wong, and today I'm excited to welcome Sammy Peluso, social engagement strategist and founder of All Things Social. Sammy's a former Navy wife who's lived in 5 different states and co-founded Lead Network Professionals right here in Minnesota. She's passionate about authentic networking and making a world a better place every day. Sammy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Very welcome. It's my honor. And now you grew up in Pittsburgh.
Yep, near Pittsburgh.
Near Pittsburgh, and you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And how was it growing up in Pittsburgh?
We ate a lot of Heinz ketchup. No, I'm kidding. I grew up with the Steelers on the screen every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever day they were playing. It would actually be either against the law or my parents would write me out of their will if I did not root for the Steelers.
And I that's a huge sports town too, like Pittsburgh Pirates. And
yeah, we've got the Pirates.
The Penguins. Those people get crazy.
Yes.
No basketball team. Though.
No basketball, no.
Yeah. So what brought you to Minnesota?
Sure. So I know that you mentioned I was a Navy wife. I've been a Navy wife for the majority of my adult life. And my now ex, he and I are great friends. He decided to check out Minnesota because just temporary with his job, they needed him here outside of the Navy. And it was summertime. He's like, the people are amazing here. The weather's gorgeous. This boy is from Southeast Texas. I'm laughing to myself. I'm like, okay, guess we're moving across the country again. And I guess it's kind of, the rest is history. We both really enjoyed here. Both of my boys have graduated from North Branch. I wanted one place where they could both graduate because we've, done the moving around. And the community here has been absolutely incredible. So we've just stayed. We've been here for 7 years now.
Wow. Yeah, that's, and I suppose Pittsburgh's cold, but.
Yes.
But coming from the southern part of the region, and from what I understand, you've lived in 5 different places before you.
Yes. So we primarily raised our kids in the southeast part of the United States. So think Georgia, literally a mile north of Florida. So Jacksonville area. And then also Charleston, South Carolina. We also did a little bit of upstate New York, which gets pretty darn brutal too. But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were saying like Southeast Georgia community is like
Yes.
one of your favorites.
Yes, the community there is also amazing. That's where, I raised my kids, and I had the privilege of being a stay-at-home mom for years, but you know me, I can't sit and not work. So the majority of the time that I was there, I rolled up my sleeves and I dove into the community there, hardcore, whether it was Boy Scouts of America, church, school, library, whatever the case may be. I was the person, rolling up my sleeves, getting involved in the community, and which kind of led me down the path of people coming to me and asking, hey, what's going on in the community? Where can we take our family? Where can we take our kids? They knew I was very outdoorsy. How can we, incorporate more outdoor time with our family? So I created a private group on Facebook when Facebook had just rolled out with groups. And from there, it kind of blew up. Again, it was a very private because I'm very weird when it comes to kids and privacy. I just want to make sure they're safe and private. So an awesome place for small businesses and local organizations to plug in and say, hey, we're hosting this type of event for families, or we've got this going on. It was also a military town. So it was very active, a lot of engagement, which is where the social engagement comes in. Very important to me. Getting families involved, getting kids involved, and just spreading awareness of what's in your community. So that's what I did in Southeast Georgia. The other thing I love about it is that if there was something going on with maybe a family, or maybe somebody was struggling with something, maybe health or financial or whatever the case may be, it's like the entire community was jumping in to help. It was fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm going to digress a little bit here because
Yeah.
I've got this ADD thing going,
Yeah.
right? Like
I get it.
Southeast Georgia, the food in the South. Do you like the
yes.
food in the South better than up here? Southern food is like,
Southern food is good. They say, get your fat back, because everything was very fatty. Yeah. So I love ribs. I love barbecue. I love mac and cheese. I love grits. I love all of those things. So yes, the food there is really amazing.
and it always makes me think of like Jenny Bites, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
that place in Anoka, she does a great job over there. Although I'm still yet to try the tomato sandwich, because it's just like tomato and mayo or something like that on bread, which is interesting to me. So
I just had this conversation with my mom, because I said that she loves that. That's something she grew up on, and it's not something that I really appealed to me. So I feel like Gen X and older generations love the tomato sandwich. It was never my thing, and my kids they're like, what the heck are you talking about? So we also had a lot of Cajun food. So in the South, there's crawfish boils. We
Okay.
do big crawfish festivals.
yeah.
So the Cajun foods are really good too.
It's kind of funny that you say that. Like I think some of the older generation is like, the tomato sandwiches are really good, and I've never had a
Yeah.
tomato sandwich by itself, right? But I think some of it's just, it brings you back to a time, right? Food is such a bonding thing with
Yes.
people, and maybe something that we don't recognize. I think a good example that is a bonding food because we didn't grow up on it or we
Yeah.
didn't have it. I think a good example is like White Castle. I hate to say it, either people really love it or hate it.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the best food in the world, but
Yeah.
I tend to be one that likes it. But
Yeah.
it brings me back to a time of like when I was little, like 5 years old. My dad would run out and get like sack of White Castles, and then as we've gotten older, I know my kids, they're just like, oh, it tastes like junk, right? But I think it brings you that moment.
Yes.
So that's what's really cool
Yeah.
about food. And Jenny Bites from
Yes.
the South. I've not lived in the South, but yeah. So I think that's it's up in Anoka. I'm gonna have to go there. And
It's a
try
cute little place too.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So
it is.
now that we're talking about food, because I love food, one of the things people ask me about Pittsburgh, they're like, do you really put French fries on everything? Yes. In fact, I moved away from home when this was way before social media. So the first time I had ordered a salad at a restaurant, I think it was like Jacksonville, or maybe it was like an Applebee's or something. And I ordered a salad, and when they brought it to the table, I was so confused. I'm like, I just don't understand this. There's no French fries. So from then on, I had to order French fries on the side to put on my salad because that's just standard. You get them on everything there. So,
All right, for you audience out there, put in the comments if you would have French fries on your salad. That just seems so different, but it might be good. It's probably like in place of croutons, right?
yeah. Yeah.
But we're not a food podcast group,
Yeah, no.
so we're going to digress and move away from that.
Go for it.
You know, one of the things that you do really well at that I know, and what kind of maybe created some of what you do is you are an organizer. Like you can get people together and organize things really well, which is really cool. And my next question for you was like leads and all things social. How did you get started in that?
Sure. So with Lead, I'm known for a few things aside from being weird. I am known for being very, very social. When it comes to social networking, whether it's business networking or otherwise, I'm known for that. I'm also known for having high engagement on social media. So with Lead, I had several people come to me during the pandemic and say, you know what, this group is great. However, it just doesn't fit what I need. And I took the three things that the audience or the market was saying to me, the cost, because let's face it, it's not one size fits all for networking. So the cost was a big deal, especially when it comes to solopreneurs or people just starting out. The other thing was time commitment. So especially those in the trades, coming every week, that's a pretty big commitment. And then the other thing was, you know what, I'm tired of just giving my pitch. I want to sit at a table and talk to people about what's actually a challenge in my business. So I partnered up with Kristen. I reached out to her and she's like, yes, let's do this. She is a leader in leadership. She's fantastic. She's been doing that for decades. And then you've got me that's very, very social and understands social networking. So we got together and we combined the things that we really needed, and we launched in 2022 Lead Network Professionals. So it's, instead of just going to a networking event every week and giving your pitch, we're actually sitting in a round table with your peers and being able to be vulnerable enough to discuss what's going on in your business and where you need help. And with that, the referrals are very organic that way because you're building that trust. You're getting to know those people and building that trust. And then we also hold workshops on different topics where our members are feeling stuck, if you will. We'll bring the experts in to talk about those things too. And then with all things social, I was sitting at a women's networking event, and it was kind of a God moment. I was representing another company altogether, and people were asking me questions about social media, and somebody was sitting next to me, didn't know me. She's like, so you do social media? And I'm like, well, no, I do all things social. And that's like God hit me over the head. That's what you're doing, because I do the social media, but I also do the social networking piece. And when you combine the two, it's like pure magic.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And I think I know which group you're talking about, that working with women.
No, actually, it wasn't. It was a group in Ramsey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And that's focused with women too.
Yes, it's a Christian women's group that meets once a month.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
So obviously Twin City Heating and Electric sponsors the Working with Women.
Yes, you do.
I really enjoy that. I actually, a little pretentious, I like to call it Working with Wymond, but
Yes. Yes.
but man, it's interesting, like the women's networking group. And I went there like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I started going there, and it is what it sounds like, working with women, right? A women's networking group. And it's interesting because I kind of did when I walked in, I realized how tough it is sometimes, because most of these networking groups are very male dominated in the business industry, not just trades, but even just in the business world, right? And what I've noticed when I walked in there is like all of a sudden it turned, because it's like if I'm a female walking into a networking group with all these men, I didn't realize how you had to present yourself in a different manner, in a sort of way.
You do.
Yes, you want to be yourself, but and authentic, but you also got to watch a little bit of what you say, as opposed to like a guy going into an all men's group, right?
Right.
A lot of men in there, and business groups, like, and I think I highly recommend any guy to go to a women's networking group. I think it scares some of them, and
Yeah.
when you walk in, you'll get that sense of, ooh, what do I say, right? Part of it is being yourself, but just be mindful that you are in with a group of women,
Right.
and words are very heavy. So
Yeah.
it's a great experience to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic.
And I love that you get that, because, and I've been going to working with women for 6 years now, and I always invite guys. I'm one of those, I'm a woman that has worked in the trades, and I stick out like a sore thumb, and I love it. Right. But, I love inviting men because they stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to get business. You're going to be able to not only network with other business professionals, but also get to understand women and how to work with them as well. And you do a fantastic job at that. I will say we have had some horror stories where we're like, yeah, this guy can't come back. This guy should not be in this room. But no, you do a fantastic job. Alan does a fantastic job. I know Justin Persinger has showed up too. There's some great guys that show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just being yourself, your authentic self,
Right.
and really there to connect, and there to help.
Right.
I think a lot of times when you do those networking things, you're just like, and this is like the worst way to present yourself, right?
Yeah.
I'm Wymond Wong. I sell furnaces, AC equipment, and electrical. Can I put a new furnace in your house, right?
Right.
It's like, whoa, that's creepy.
Yes.
Back off,
Yeah.
dude.
And that is, so I should probably go back and say horror stories, not actual horror stories. It's mainly, we're there to build relationships, not to be a walking sales pitch.
Yeah.
And so you do a fantastic job with that. So the people that have not done such a great job have commission breath, and they're just in there for the sale.
Yeah.
So.
And the other thing I noticed about being in that women's group is they're a lot more tighter knit than the men's groups, like, or not men, because it's not really not a men's group, but the business networking groups that are basically predominated by males. Like you'll see 2 or 3 women that are in the group, but those groups seem to be a lot more shallow in their relationships.
Yeah.
If
well, I wouldn't necessarily say shallow, but yeah, I see what you're saying. So I want to say one thing that I've noticed, that this has to be a Minnesota thing. I feel so incredibly blessed when it comes to being an entrepreneur and being a woman. I have never been in a place where women are so supportive of one another. Even the people who should be your competitors, they're your peers. I'm going to bring up Danielle Hedberg and Carrie Hefneider. At one point, they were both co-chairs for the Sunrise, and they both talk so admirably about each other. Yes, they're competitors, but at the same time, they want to be there to support each other. Yeah. And I've never seen that in any other state. So that's why I feel like, I know I'm jumping ahead, but for the entrepreneurial journey and having a small business, I feel so incredibly blessed.
Yeah. God, Carrie would be a great one to have on the podcast, too.
Yeah.
She's personally met Mickey Mantle, I guess. So
oh, wow.
Kind of cool. When she was a little kid. So she would be great. Your expertise in just networking is incredible. The one thing that you did get started that I would love to get your opinion on, and Ladies of the Trades.
Yeah.
How did that come about for you?
Sure. So there are some other ladies groups that are focused on the trades, construction and otherwise. Actually, just construction, if I think about it. But they're more in the metro area. There's nothing up here in the northern metro area for ladies that are in the trades. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's just create something free and easy. It doesn't have to be overbearing. So every other month, we meet for either cocktails or coffee. So this month we'll be meeting for coffee. Next month it'll be cocktails, and then we go and visit different locations as well. So it's not just we're sitting there trying to pass business. We're supporting local cafes or places where you get cocktails, and we're building relationships and finding out how we can help one another. Because I mean, it's not just about being a woman in the trades, but building those relationships and having a peer that you can talk to about something maybe you're struggling with, or maybe you have questions and you bring it to the table and say, hey, this is what I'm struggling with this month. And then we kind of round robin and say, well, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm finding success, or maybe here's a resource.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. When I heard you were putting that together, and I think you and Grace, including Grace in it as part of our Twin City
Grace is
unit.
fantastic. Yeah.
And it's I said, man, I support that 100%. I think women need to have a place where they can vent and really really in the trades, right? Because it's so male dominated. I don't mean to turn this into like a feminist show, but
right, but it is. So it's really odd because I've obviously been in the trades for 6 years now as well, which is another venture. But it's funny when I go to like a home show or something, and I have a guy standing next to me, and it doesn't happen as much anymore, but they would come up and start asking him questions, and he would just look at me and say, well, you need to talk to her. She's the one that knows, not me. I'm just the pretty face.
Right.
So no, but on the flip side, man, I love men. So I'm one of those feminists that loves men. I have 2 boys at home. I want to see them succeed. So I would eventually love to start a men's group, because men need their bros. They need men that they can talk to as well. It's not just, it's not just women needing women. Men need men too.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like there's a lot of men's groups out there though, especially in the trades. It's like, but then it starts to become kind of a good old boys club too, which makes it hard too.
Yeah.
It's a support, but probably sometimes not in the best of ways sometimes with the guys. But no, I agree with you. Like, I think support is such a huge thing. And the differences, the one thing that I really, when I first met you, and you were with Garage Doors Plus, and I know that Thomas and I are really good friends. And I'm like, that's amazing that you can get Samantha to understand the world of garage doors. And and I think that's when you started learning garage doors, and you just took it to a whole new level in that business development as a female in the trade. So I got to give you a lot of kudos for that.
Thanks.
So with that, why don't we take a quick break?
Okay.
And we will be back shortly.
Sounds good.
Anoka Meals on Wheels, a nonprofit organization that I proudly support, delivers more than just nutritious meals to seniors in our community. They deliver connection, care, and peace of mind. Their volunteers don't just drop off food. They check in, share a smile, and ensure our neighbors know they're not forgotten. I know because I am one of those volunteer drivers. Help us keep serving those who need it most. Visit mowanoka.org to volunteer, donate, or learn more about Anoka Meals on Wheels, nourishing bodies and spirits one meal at a time. Tired of lugging heavy bags of water softener salt from the store? Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric now delivers premium water softener salt right to your home in returnable, reusable 20-pound containers to go green and light it up to save you from injury. Serving the north suburbs, we're your neighbors who know how hard our water is. No more running out of salt and dealing with spotty dishes and stiff laundry. Quality salt, reliable delivery, local service you can trust. Because at Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric, we don't just keep your home comfortable, we keep your water soft and your life easy. Twin Sea Heating, Air, and Electric, now with water softener salt delivery. Call today or visit us online. And we are back again here with Samantha. And, I was just thinking during that break about, all things social. What a great name because we're all social
We
beings.
are.
Elaborate a little more about
Sure.
being social.
So, being social is really important. I know the pandemic was really hard on a lot of people. But when it comes to being in business, we need to be social. When it comes to business networking, if you think about it, we're not just going to a room to say, hey, this is who I am, and then walk out the door and never see those people again. You need to speak to your audience. You need to have that engagement piece. And the same thing goes with social media. People are always asking, how do you have such high engagement rates? Well, it's because I'm not just posting and walking away. I'm actually going and talking to my audience and talking to them in their groups and in on their social media as well. It's not just about me and what I can do for me or what I, you know what I'm saying. It's not just about me. It's about providing engagement for them as well. So yeah, don't be afraid to be social. You need to be social. Don't just post and ghost. Even if you're not able to post something on social media, you should still be engaging with your audience, whether it's going to their comment or going to their feed and commenting on their stuff, or even their friends, you know.
And that's just the social media aspect of it.
Yes, but
That's not the
if you
in-person.
think about it, the same thing goes with in person because a lot of people, if you're a newcomer to a meeting, how do you get involved with the group? How do you feel like you belong? You actually have to get involved in the group. You can't just just show up and be a member. You actually have to get involved and do those one-to-ones and learn more about that person. Just like we're doing here, we learn about each other because you don't know what you don't know. Everybody has a story, and you don't want to just learn about what it is that they do, but you want to learn about their personality and their hobbies and their kids and things like that too. Because all of that is really important. I love the outdoors, and some people gravitate towards me because I'm weird and I love the outdoors. I'm not going to pair two people together as far as referral partners if they're complete opposites. So I need to get to know them better, right?
Right.
So same thing goes with business. I want to work with people that are like me. And how are you going to get to know if they're like you if you don't find out?
Yeah, and there's special tools for that, like the DISC assessments and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think just because you take a DISC assessment, you still need to be in person and socialize, which you really bring up a good point because, before the break, we were talking a lot about the trades. And I'm obviously one that's been in the trades for 30 something years now. And the one thing I think a lot of tradespeople are like they're really good at fixing things and stuff mechanically, but the social skills, there's a lot of
Right.
social awkwardness out there,
Right.
and they don't always read a room.
Yeah.
And I feel like having somebody work with their social media or even just representing their company
Right.
is huge.
Yeah.
It really does bring that connection in.
And I will say, AI is making its way through our world, and it is growing faster than we can even keep up with. It's a fantastic tool, but more now than ever, and even in the future, we need human interaction. So you need to have a face of your company. You need to show your face. You can have a faceless brand, sure, but when you get to really know the person and the why, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like AI is one of those things that's still kind of the 100% of the word isn't, or the 100% of the, I wouldn't say 100% truth, or I'm trying to figure out the word. It's almost, I guess I can use this as an example. My son, who's behind the cameras and operating everything, we had a good conversation about AI a few weeks ago about the reality of it, right? Like we can see these pictures that were like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, our grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
and you can make them come to life
Mm-hmm.
and hug each other.
Mm-hmm.
You can have conversations because they have recordings of them and actually have AI start talking back to you, even though they're passed away, right?
Right.
Now, where does that blur of reality and AI really start to happen, right? And I feel like AI is a good thing, but AI could be one of those things that could be very detrimental to people's psyche.
Right.
And that's the hard part. And I think with what you're doing with social media and having actual live person, a real face-to-face social interaction.
Yeah.
That's really important.
Yeah.
And that might be an art that needs to be looked at even at a higher level as we
Right.
progress into the future, right?
Yeah.
The wave of the future.
I'm not worried about AI taking my job anytime soon.
No, which is good. Yeah, exactly. And even in the trades industry, the soft skills are so huge. Even in my industry, we've started to look at things differently. Like 30 years ago, it was like, do they know how to fix it? Can they fix the furnace? Do they understand the technical skills of installing a furnace? Not that we hire like people that don't know what they're doing and just
Right.
need them to get social skills.
Right.
We're looking at that first, and then we're looking at the technical skills, as opposed to 30 years ago. Their technical skill comes first, then we'll figure out how they interact with people.
Yeah.
It's the other way around now, I think.
Absolutely.
this day
I
and
agree.
age.
For sure.
So, because you can get so much information on technical stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, God, that's fantastic. So socializing with people is so important in this day and age. And like you said, after COVID, I think some of it got lost.
Yeah, some of it got lost, and then you have the there's so many groups in the Twin Cities as far as networking goes, and I keep saying it's not one size fits all. So you need somebody, especially if you're an introvert or you're brand new to networking, you need someone to guide you, somebody that already has a large circle of influence and they've been there and done that, so that they can kind of guide you to where you would fit best for your company, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's really interesting, that whole dynamic. And
right.
I guess I've seen that in the past where somebody will go into a networking group and it's a trade. But they're just like, and that's the whole expectation. Like, if I just join the group, I pay my money, I should just get leads. They should just be giving me referrals hand over fist. I've learned early that that's not the case, how you should be working it. Yes, you pay your membership, but it's your job to have that one-to-one with them or develop that relationship, right? And I strongly believe if you have a brother that's an electrician and I run a electrical company, I have an electrical company, and you and I are in the same networking group, you don't owe me the referrals. You really don't.
Right.
And I would expect you to give it to your brother first. That's just kind of you.
Yeah.
You're related.
Yeah.
But I do know this: if your brother's too busy or your brother can't do it, I want to be that first one on your list to go.
Right.
I want them to call him. I need to call Wymond next.
Yep.
That's the position you're trying to put yourself in,
right?
When you're in these business or networking.
Maybe
groups.
your brother is in the hospital or something happens. You always need that backup, and that's like even with garage doors. The garage door companies, I could throw a rock and hit a garage door company nowadays, but having those peers that you can talk to if your guys are all busy and there's an emergency situation, let's find a way to help that customer, right? It's all about helping the other people in the community, not just what's in it for me.
Right.
So, yeah.
I love good stuff.
Yeah.
You have a lot of good stuff there and what you're doing with social media and just being that, again, like some of the older generation or the trades that are socially awkward, but the older people that don't know how to use social media, you're a perfect fit for them. So that's fantastic. I did have a little surprise for you. Your mom sent me some pictures.
All right.
And for the listeners out there, this one I'm not sure what she's doing. It's she's kind of in a 2-point stance with a couple other kids behind her, and we're not exactly sure what she's thinking there.
Those are my 2 stepsisters, and I am so proud of them. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but good Lord, if I could get back to that weight.
I just was admiring the flexibility that I could never do that.
Yes, that is such a funny picture. That's so funny. So that's me, and then behind me is Jenny, and Nada behind her. So
okay. That's awesome. And is that that must have been in the Pennsylvania area?
Yes. Okay. I believe I know exactly where that is. That's across the street from where my mom lives. Yeah. We're
Okay.
playing at the neighborhood kids' house. That's what we did when we were kids. We played outside with our neighbors. We didn't,
Nice.
yeah, we
And,
didn't
and you
have
could do that
social
back in
media or
those
anything.
days,
Yeah.
right? Now
So we
we're
did.
worried
Yeah.
about sending the kids down. Oh, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
for the audience on this one,
Oh my
the
goodness.
hairstyle is amazing. She's got the
Yes.
red hair.
Well, it's pink. It's actually
it
hot
pink?
pink.
Nice.
Yeah. So we were not allowed to dye our hair in school. Like you couldn't have colors in school at that time. So when I walked across the stage, I was obviously, I was voted most school spirit. So obviously I had to dye my hair yellow and gold or blue and gold for my school colors, which people thought was insane at the time. They're like, what is she thinking, right? And then right after I chopped it all off and dyed it hot pink. Little did I know that I was going to a concert where Pink was playing, and this is before she was well known. So she wasn't even the main act. So I showed up in Pittsburgh at a concert and she wasn't the main act and people were just looking at me and I'm like, what's everyone looking at? I don't get it. Because you didn't dye your hair back then, but so I did it before all the cool kids did.
So you accidentally fell into coolness at that
I
time.
guess so. With my hot pink hair.
Very nice. And
Graduation. I graduated from Shenango High School in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and that is me and my mom. And you could see, it's kind of hard to see in the picture, but you could see streaks of the yellow for the blue and gold.
very nice. Very nice. So what would that 17, 18-year-old
Sure.
think of you today?
She'd be very proud. Very, very proud. I was quiet. No, I won't say that. I wasn't quiet. But I was shy and socially awkward. I was an introvert. I preferred to stay at home and study or watch TV or hang out with my close friends, going to like parties and things like that. Not my thing at all. And now I literally get paid to do that. So, but she would also be very proud because I also a very formidable force. I don't let people tell me what to do, and I don't live by I don't live in a box that society tells me I have to live in.
That's awesome. That's so a great question from there is, if you could go back to the day that picture was taken, what advice would you give yourself at that time?
God, that is such a great question. I would say that I wouldn't say that I was vulnerable, but I would say that I let men in my life influence my decisions as far as love goes. And I would tell myself to stick up for myself more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all have to give ourselves that self-confidence from that age, because I think at that
Right.
age, we're still very self-conscious, but we're not confident, right? Like,
Right.
and I think we sometimes forget that,
Yeah.
and even to give ourselves a little forgiveness back then too. I
Yeah.
think we
Yeah.
didn't do enough of that.
Yeah, I was really proud because if you think about it, not long after that, I decided to move very far away from my family. This is for social media, like almost before. I didn't even have a cell phone at the time, I don't think. Started the family, did the whole thing, and all away from people that I knew and loved. So I had to create my own community. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. And you've been all over the place. And
Yeah.
man, what a great story you have there. It's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. And so, one of the closing questions that I always like to ask
Mhm.
is, who is someone you would love to hear on a podcast, especially this one?
Yeah,
'Cause-
especially this one. I think she's kind of famous at this point. If she's not, she should be because I talk about her enough. Marianne Cook with Archstone Workspace. She is an incredible woman. I love listening to her stories. I could sit and talk to her for hours. She has been kind of the driving force behind some of the things that I've done with both lead network professionals and all things social. She has the ABI program, which is the Archstone Business Incubator. And she's done so many cool things, and she's now bringing that to small businesses in the area to help them form plans or maybe pick each other's brains in a group where we can really dive in and see where we want to go with business. So she's an incredible woman. All around incredible woman. Her and Joe, her son, are just amazing people.
They are. I've had the pleasure of having a couple conversations with her, and she's like a professor of like, I believe, business, and
yes.
So she really knows her stuff. Was it one of the Ivy Leagues?
Yale, MIT, MBA courses for emerging technology, but she was like the pioneer for. I don't want to say the pioneer for technology itself, but she worked for IBM as a woman back then. That was almost unheard of because it was men in technology, not women. And so she was there doing the thing and rolling up her sleeves, and just hearing what she did. It's incredible. So I think you're going to love that one.
And especially like what we talked about earlier before the break, right?
Yeah.
Where being in a place where it's so dominated by somebody completely different from who you are, and then navigating your way through it without a lot of support because there's not that many people in it.
Right.
She is an amazing woman, and I'll have to get her story because I feel like there's something to that. Where did she really like think she was going to be that? When she was 18 years old,
right? Which
brings me to a great question. When you were 18, did you think you were going to run a business called Lead Professionals?
No, absolutely not. Anywhere did I ever think that I was going to be social at all. I knew that I wanted to make the world a better place. Like every day since I've been 16, I've woken up every day and said, I want to make the world a better place. Who can I serve? Who can I help? I knew that I had that, but I didn't know where it was going to go. And it just kind of evolved because when you move away, you don't have any social interaction with anyone that you know. You have to create that, especially if you have kids, So I can't say that the world kind of fell in my lap with my communities. I get to actually say, you know what? I did that. I made that happen because I took a chance on myself. I put one foot in front of the other. I opened my mouth, even if I felt super awkward, and I just did the thing. So here I am, one of the bigger networkers in Minnesota, of all places. Never thought I'd say that either. So yeah, it's just, it's incredible to watch where that girl went.
You are an awesome networker. I got, when I first met you, you had the it factor, and I'm glad you came on the show. I just know that when I talked to Thomas about you, and I was like amazed at what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, we really appreciate that. And before you leave, I do have a little something for you. Just a little thank you for being on our show.
Oh my gosh. How cute is that?
And I know how much of a camper you are and how much you love going camping.
Oh my goodness.
So I got a couple of huge mugs for you.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them is hiking, and the other one is like kindling.
Oh, yes.
Because now that, hopefully it's not too personal, but now that you are dating a new guy from Canada, I believe.
Yes, he is Canadian. He lives here. And that was we met by complete accident. And he's the first guy that I've let into my life in the past 7 years. So
wow. And perfect. 2 big mugs for hot chocolate or coffee or anything extra you want to put in there.
Throw some Fireball in there. We'll be good.
Well, thank you, Sammy. I can't thank you enough again, Sammy, for being on our Twin City Tales podcast. If you want to learn more about Samantha, you can visit her website at sammypeluso.com. Again, that is Sammy Peluso, SAMIPELUSO.com. Or visit us at our Twin City Tales Facebook page, and we'll post it on there. And as we roll out of here, I want to say thank you to Chris Hockey for the use of his song Thanks, with no pun intended. This podcast is powered by Twin City Heating and Air Electric. Until the next show, you can't go wrong with Wymond Wong on Twin City Heal's podcast.
This song goes out to my family, to all the ones who died before me. I'm sure the family life made you do things you never wanted to, so I wrote this